I'm Katrina Knight, Executive Director of Good Shepherd Center. We began in 1983 as a modest soup kitchen and have grown over these 41 years to add a number of services that address either hunger or homelessness.
My name is Kyle Abrams. I'm the Director of Homeless Services here at Good Shepherd Center. From our emergency shelter services all the way to our housing services, and then once people are housed, we work on retention so they're not falling back into the system.
Over the last, say, 15 years, we've really become very housing focused, and so we have built up our staff team, we've brought resources to the table and enlisted a lot of volunteer help to do more to really help our neighbors in crisis move beyond homelessness and back to housing again. In all of these years, First Baptist volunteers have really been sort of the lifeblood, honestly, of our volunteer corps. On a day like today, we have First Baptist and other volunteers coming in to help with a breakfast meal, with a very significant lunchtime meal that's available to the whole community. And so we have a day shelter that is open to anyone experiencing housing crisis, but is particularly utilized by people who might be reluctant to come in for the night, but they would like a safe space to come in out of the weather during the day. We have a tiny little medical clinic attached to the shelter that is a partnership with the health department. With First Baptist help, we added a night shelter in 2005, and so up to 100, 118 or so men, women, and children can seek shelter with us every night.
Housing First is a philosophy, and the idea behind Housing First is you don't need to be fixed in order to be housed. Nobody fixed all of my problems in order for me to be housed. But now that I have housing, I don't have to worry about where I'm going to spend each night. I don't have to worry about where my next meal is going to come from, and therefore I can work on the other things in my life. And that's our goal for everybody else here, is that we don't need to fix them before they get housed. We use the housing in order to help them with their issues.
Something that we're proud of to have really leaned into in the last couple of decades is really efforts around housing combined with supportive services. And so we continue to operate our Sergeant Eugene Ashley Center for homeless veterans. And then a handful of years ago, we began to implement the best practice called permanent supportive housing. We opened SECU Lakeside Reserve, and that's 40 apartments for chronically homeless individuals with disabilities who, left to the market, would have an exceedingly difficult time finding and holding on to housing. We always love to invite people for a tour, whether it's 2 or 20, to come and see firsthand what it is that your community has helped to make possible and some of the things that we're working on. We have any number of volunteer opportunities for folks. February is Canned Food Month, and so we are currently taking part in a canned food drive, and so folks from around the community are adding to their shopping basket a handful, say, of canned goods. We also, again, are in the midst of a pretty significant campaign. So people who want to learn more about Home for Good and our efforts to improve our services and expand our services to homeless families through an expanded shelter, we are available to provide more information and to answer people's questions about opportunities to support that as well.